What percent of my account am I risking per trade? Around 0.3 to 0.5% or so. So I'm taking smaller risks than I used to. But I'm going for like big multiples of risk. Like every trade I take, like if I can't like realistically think I can make, say, 10 times my initial risk, I'm probably not gonna take the trade. And many of my like swing longs, I can make 20, 30, 50 times my initial risk. So like a home run trade, let's just say something like NVAX down here where I bought it, and then I sold it like what, 60% higher, like a couple of weeks later. Like I made easily 10 times my initial risk on this thing. There are better ones. D-Dog may be a bet. No, not D-Dog. Which is the one? No, not PDD. Well, PDD is also a good example where I bought it here and then I sold it like here. Or at least my last shares. That was also 65% move. This one I easily got like 15 times, 20 times my initial risk on my last shares. So, but that's the thing, if you're swing trading, your win rate is probably gonna be lower than when you're day trading. So like, again, like my win rate last year was like 25%. And yet I was wildly profitable. And even this year, this is my best year by far, my win rate is well below 35%. Like most stocks I trade are like very liquid stuff, like BA, like Peloton. I mean, there are some exceptions, obviously, but like Tesla, like you can't pump these things. W, D-Dog, T-Dog, Kodak, like this thing is ultra liquid. This thing has been surfing the rising 10-day for the past 200% for the past 2 months. And guys, this is where we bought it. This is a high tide flag. This is why I'm so excited about Workhorse. Look at this thing. This is where we bought it. We bought it like 47s, 48s. Or at least I did. I know some people, other people did. And then I sold it like here, like high 78s. Because I thought this thing was, you know, not really gonna do much more. And then after I sold it, it only went up another 90%. Oh God. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is hold a big winner. It's just so hard sometimes. It's incredibly hard. I mean, it's like unbelievably hard sometimes. Like this is a high tide flag. Look at this, guys. This is like the best breakout setup ever. Memorize these types of setups for those of you who are new. You have a big move, you have higher lows, and you have a range break, like several month range break or several week range break. And look at this Shopify. Like we bought it here. We bought the opening range highs on this day here. Unfortunately, I sold it. Where did I sell it? Like around 1,000 or something. And then it kind of pulled back a bit, and now yesterday it went higher. And you know, if you're still in it, it looks good, but there's absolutely no setup to buy it here. This LRN, it's a thin stock. It obviously failed the breakout yesterday, but it's still the chart is still intact. The high tide flag is still intact. Like it's building higher lows. Like if it attempts to break out over that high 48, low 49 area, like next week, you know, it's a high tide flag. This thing could go to 60 plus. Stick to something you have at least tested on, like the market leaders over the past, say, 100 years. Like these moving averages, the 10 and 20, like if you look at the biggest momentum stocks, like no matter where you look at the market leaders, you can look at the market leaders in 90s, 80s, 50s, 20s. Like they move the same way. They obey the same moving averages, like the 10, 20, 50, 200. Like they worked for 100 years, and they're probably gonna work for another 100 years. What do I know? They just work. And the 60-minute chart, I just found the EMAs work better. I don't know. You can use the simple moving average too, maybe a little bit shorter. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Just look, I can take these small losses, like these small cuts, like all day long, whole week long. when they finally break down, they're gonna make huge moves on the downside if they break down. So break down, sorry. That's gonna make it all back and more. But that's my trading. Like I had a 25% win rate last year, and yet I made like over 100%, if I remember correctly. It's all about small losses, big wins. Small losses, big wins. Don't get into the cult. You have to be profitable every day. No, you don't have to. What you need to do is have some really big home run trades and keep the losses small in the meanwhile. That's my philosophy. That's obviously for day trading, you know, you can do it differently, but QCOM. Well, the problem with QCOM is it's a very slow stock. Like average daily range is 2.5%. Like it's just not a great trading stock. I'm sorry, you know, gotta be in the momentum leaders. It's just not a momentum leader. And you know, look at the numbers. Like it's not a growth stock. 8% EPS growth, minus 49% revenue growth. Like this is just a very, like the numbers are very, very choppy. Like you know, like compared to something like the one I went long today, TDOC. Look at this thing. Look, this is the type of stock you want to be in, like steady high revenue growth. Like obviously it's not a profitable stock, but look at the revenue growth, like consistently steady. Or another like leader, let's just say, like look at Shopify. Like look at the numbers, look at the revenue growth, look at the EPS growth, you know, and then you look at something like QCOM, like why would this stock go up? What's the reason for it, like, right? Like if you're gonna get big moves in the stock, there needs to be a reason for it to go up. Like every stock can go up a short amount of time on some random stuff, but there needs to be something, and usually earnings or expected earnings is the big driver for long-term moves.